What's up, Make Pop Music? It is Austin here from Austin Hole Audio and Visual and Make Pop Music, and today we are back with another tutorial, and I wanted to kind of step away from the production stuff we've been doing and talk a little bit about the business side and the money side. So I know that this can get uncomfortable for people. I don't want it to make anybody feel weird or like you're not doing enough or like there's any kind of flexing going on, but I just want to kind of talk a little bit about how you can start to make a little bit more money as a musical artist, and some of these even carry over to as a producer. So if you're a producer watching this, definitely don't click off. I would personally watch it just so you can tell some of the artists that you're working with some of these strategies, maybe even send them this video. That way, you know, the more money they make, the more they can hire you, and the more they can hire you, the more music y'all can both make together. It's kind of just like a cycle. So everybody needs each other in this whole equation. So hopefully this video will be, you know, useful for artists and for producers. And it's really just about how to build that initial fan base and then how to actually start capitalizing on that and turning that fan base into dollar signs instead of just relying on landing on streaming playlists and hoping that your Spotify does well and hoping that people just randomly buy your music. Let's actually go in with some kind of game plan. So there's a bunch of stuff I want to talk about today. There's going to be a bunch of stuff that we reference. Anything that we reference or kind of talk about will be linked in the description below, so definitely go check all of that out because they're really good resources. But other than that, let's just go ahead and hop in because there is a ton that I want to talk about. Okay, now we're actually in my computer, so I've put together a little spreadsheet and some resources for you to use. So let's go ahead and just kind of walk through everything. So we first need to talk about the ways to grow your audience and make some money as an artist, right? So there are a bunch of steps that you have to do, and then with each step, we're going to kind of break that down and talk about that a little bit. So let's go over step one, right? That's just building your initial fan base. So there's going to be a lot of people that are listening to your music, but you have to distinguish what is a fan besides what is somebody who just casually finds your music and listens to it. So if you haven't already, our good friend of the channel and of Make Pop Music, Adam Ivy, has an amazing channel where he does tons of artist and production business stuff. And he's much more business focused than Make Pop Music is. And he actually did a video a couple weeks ago that was how to build 1,000 fans in 90 days from scratch. So if you haven't already, go watch that. We're going to leave a link in the description. I don't want to dive too much into that because I don't want to take any of his content or his words, but it's a killer video where he basically breaks down how many, you know, followers and interactions you need to have per day. And it's a really manageable number. So go watch that and start building that initial fan base. Once you're starting to build your initial fan base, whether it be on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or on YouTube or whatever, interactive fans that is, that's when you need to start releasing music steadily. So there's a big difference between an artist that's going to release music once every 6 months, once every 8 months, to once every, you know, month, once every other month, once every 3 weeks. And the way that Spotify works is that the more that you upload as an artist, the more that they have a chance to start putting you on release radars, on people's Discover Weeklies, even on some Spotify curated playlists, because they're not going to put that much time and effort into an artist that's only using their service or their platform once a year, once every other year, maybe twice a year. I did a song with my friend Grayson Gibson, and it was like the third or fourth song he had released like back to back, month after month. And that song, we literally checked it the day after it came out, and it got like 40,000 streams overnight. He didn't pitch it to any playlist. He didn't do any of that. It just landed on everybody's Discover Weekly and on everybody's kind of release radar because he had been doing content so frequently, and the content that he had been doing on there, I mean, he was doing okay. They were getting, you know, 5,000 streams, 6,000 streams. They were doing pretty decent, but nothing like this to where he just came out and had, you know, 40,000 out of the gate. And honestly, it was just because he was uploading every day. The more that we upload to YouTube, the more we start to get subscribers and followers, the more comments we get, the more views we get. That's why we're uploading twice a week now. So release steadily. That's really what it is. Release your music steadily, release your content steadily, because if you're releasing steadily, you have a much bigger chance of actually capturing a fan base and actually hitting those algorithms on all of those platforms. Now let's talk about where we can actually start to talk about money. And this is, I think that everybody should be opening a merchandising store. It's super easy online. It takes almost no upfront cost. It's pretty immediate. And let's go ahead and just kind of, there's this article that Forbes did a couple years ago, and it was basically about how The Weeknd made $92 million in 1 year. And so I'm not going to go over the whole thing. I'll leave the link in the description, but it's basically going over how he didn't make too much money at all from his actual streaming. He actually made most of his money from his merchandise sales and from touring. And most of those from merchandise sales through touring. So merchandise is a really easy way to make money because it doesn't take too much to get started, and the profit margins are pretty high. Instead of, you know, making a half of a penny when somebody streams a song. You're making $8 to $10 when somebody buys a shirt just in profit. So let's go ahead and talk about kind of what you need for a website to start selling your merch, because I know it can seem daunting. You can easily build a website on Wix for like $150, $200, get the premium package, get your own domain name, and not only for your merch, but it can have your tour dates, it can have all your content. You can actually have all of your social medias linked there. So that's just a hub that I think every artist should have. It takes like one day to set up. Pay a couple $100, get a couple different merch designs, and then put them on a couple different products, and then do some merch printing. And I like to do drop shipping or print to order, especially with online and for artists where you might not know how you're going to sell. Like all of the Make Pop Music stuff that we sell, and any kind of clothing companies I've ever done, and any artists that I've helped with merch, we all use something called Printful, and it's free to sign up. And you know, you can print a shirt for like $9 and they ship it. You never have to deal with it. Then you can sell that shirt for like $20 with your design and do whatever you want. Let me just kind of show you a website that I'm working on for my dad's band, actually. He's in a band in Orlando, and so I'm helping them with their website because they've never had one. And they've sold shows, or they've sold merch at shows and while they play live, but they've never had somewhere online for people to go. And I made the site in half of a day on Wix. No template, just walked in and did it. So up top, we've just got a banner. You've got all their music. This will be all of their merch designs as soon as they're finalized. And then they've got their live dates. Then you can, you know, check out all of their songs on here. But most importantly, they've got a shop. So we've got a couple designs, and we basically just have their Filth logo right here, and then their little mascot with a mask on. So we've put it to all these different designs. We've got short sleeves, we've got women's shirts, we've got crop tops, we've got long sleeves, we've got embroidered hoodies, screen printed hoodies. We've got a two-sided sweatshirt where it's got something on the front and the back. All kinds of stuff. You can print hats, you can print bags, you can print beach towels, pillows. All of this is through Printful. And so when somebody goes to order it, they just pick their size, they add it to their bag, they print it, and then Printful actually ships it out. That website took me a day to build, and there's really no reason why you shouldn't be doing that. You know, a couple $100 invested in some designs and a website, and you've got huge profit margins. We'll talk about the profit margins a little bit later, but yeah, if you're not selling merch, that is the #1 way to do it. And even if you're playing live and you don't want to print merch to take out live, just print some business cards with a QR code to where you can hand them out. Maybe they have like a 15% off coupon or discount or whatever, where they can take it home, look up your merch online, order it, have it shipped to their house. They don't have to carry it around the venue all night. They don't have to worry about spilling beer on it or getting sweat on it or whatever. There's so many ways to sell your merch online where it costs you almost nothing, and it's literally free money. So let's talk about the next thing. And this has probably been the most important for Make Pop Music and for my personal brand as a producer, and that's just developing content for social media. So everybody will be good at different things. Some people are really attractive, so they can really flourish on Instagram. Some people are super funny, so they can flourish on like YouTube or Twitter. Some people are really informative, and Facebook is gonna be a good place. Some people want communities. Facebook groups are a good place. So the first thing that I think that you need to do is figure out what is your content gonna be. And there are so many things. So I'll talk about a couple examples. So if you have a YouTube channel, of course you can do covers. You can also do studio updates where you're kind of, showing people what the process of you working on the song is like. You can do acoustic versions of your own songs. That's just 3 examples for YouTube. Then you can go to Instagram, where of course you have your post where you can show the process of your actual songwriting process. You can just show what your life is like so people can get to know you a little bit better. You can do Instagram lives where you play an acoustic set for your Instagram peeps, and there's just so many things to do. You can go on Facebook, you can start a community where people talk about your music and similar music. You can go on Facebook and you can do Facebook lives where you stream a Q&A or like any kind of acoustic live set or whatever. That way you can do online concerts. You can go on Twitter and you can just tweet artists and develop fans, not necessarily music related. You just kind of develop an audience based on what kind of content you post and the tweets that you post, and then you can kind of funnel those into one of those other social medias or into your website or into your Spotify. So there are a bunch of different social medias. I would think that the 4 that you need to at least try are Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube, just because they are still the biggest and they're the easiest to get onto. And then the next is creating a content schedule. So it's good to have content, but like we talked earlier, content is really only key if you're consistent with it and it's good content. So we have a pretty strict schedule with Make Pop Music, where every Tuesday we upload, every Thursday we upload a product at least once a month. We're basically on the Facebook page every day. We'll do live streams every couple weeks. We have a really tight schedule, and that keeps people coming back for their content. People expect these videos on Tuesdays and Thursdays. People expect to see me in the pop group every day. People expect a Q&A to come up once a month. People expect new products. And when they start to expect that, that's when they want to start following, because they're not like, oh, that was a good video, but you know, they're probably not going to upload another video for 3 to 4 months, yada, yada, yada. So the consistency really is key to building that dedicated audience that actually cares about what you post and when you post. So here's just kind of like a makeshift content schedule, and it may seem a little daunting, but you know, if you're really, really, really trying to make it as an artist, take an hour a day, take an hour and a half a day, and that's really all that this would take. Like an Instagram post, you can load up on these, go take 4 or 5 of them in one day and then save them for a week or two. So you've got like an Instagram post on Monday, a YouTube video on Tuesday, an Instagram post on Wednesday, a YouTube video on Thursday. Maybe on Friday, you start to actually go on your social media and comment people back. Maybe you focus on like Instagram and Twitter, commenting, liking, doing the stuff that Adam actually talked about in his video, building those fans. Maybe on Saturday, you do a live stream. So maybe one week it's a Q&A, maybe one week it's an acoustic cover set, maybe one week it's an acoustic set of your own songs. And then on Sunday, maybe you just take an off day, or maybe you do some light engagement where you're just still building that fan base. But doing this mixed with Adam's kind of method of following people, creating genuine conversation through comments, creating genuine actual connections with people, not just spamming them, not just being pieces of shit online. Mix these together, and honestly, your fan base is going to explode basically overnight. When we started doing videos twice a week on our YouTube channel this year, we went from 12,000 followers to like almost 35. And that's just been within a couple months. And then the Facebook group has grown to, you know, 22,000 followers now. In just a couple years of us not really doing anything, we've never spent any money on advertisement. Make Pop Music has become a super successful business that really hasn't cost me anything besides time and effort. I haven't really put any money in it up front, and so it's all just about the content, how you schedule it, the quality of content, and then just building that community of your fan base. You don't just want fans, you want a community, you want a family. That goes into step 6, just engaging with your fans. Creating the content really does nothing if you're not commenting people back, if you're not liking people's posts, if you're not actually trying to connect with those people who are supporting you. It's super, super key that people feel appreciated. So when somebody tweets your song, retweet their tweet. If somebody messages you on Instagram that they love your music, you know, sometimes stuff falls through the cracks, and the bigger you get, the harder it gets to respond to everybody. But if you're just started and you're kind of bitching about not being big enough or not being successful enough, there's no reason that messages should be going unread. There's no reason that fans should be getting ignored. There's no reasons that your fans shouldn't just be your friends. Don't make fans, make friends. It's so much easier. Then the last step, I think, is to start playing live shows. Live shows are a really, really good way to create some income and some revenue. They're a really, really good way to peddle your merch. And they're a really, really, really good way to just get your name out there when you're playing for other bands. Let's actually go over some of these resources that I was talking about now that we've gone over the general schedule, right? So for the merchandising, there is this article on the weekend merchandising, his stuff, which I think is huge. I also wrote an article on merchandising for the Make Pop blog. I will leave all of that in the description below. And one thing I think to keep in mind is, let's go to this money breakdown. Merchandise has such a higher profit margin. So streaming royalties, especially on Spotify, this is specifically for Spotify for anybody that's about to show some hate. And this is just kind of an average. On average, you make about half of 1 cent per stream. So if you make 20,000 streams in a month, which is pretty easy to do if you're uploading steadily, you're landing on some playlists, and you've got 1,000 people that really, really, really care about what you're doing, that's barely $100 a month. It's not even $100 a month, actually. It's $92. So if, you know, you're really, really, really focused on streaming payouts kind of suck right now. And while, yeah, that's a shame, and we're all kind of working to do something about that, instead of spending all of your time bitching about streaming payouts, find other ways to make money that are much easier ways to make money and much more profitable ways to make money. So have them on Spotify just so you can kind of get the exposure, maybe land a playlist. It's kind of free money once you release the music, but don't count on that as your revenue. And then you've got your album sales from like iTunes, where if you sell it for $1, you're getting like 76% after your TuneCore, DistroKid, or whatever takes a split. So let's say you sell 100 songs a month, that's only $76. That's still small money. Now we're getting into the 3-figure range with merchandise sales. If you print a shirt for $9 and sell it for $20, you're gonna make $11 minus maybe $1.50 for shipping. So let's say you make like $9.50 of profit per shirt, and you can sell 40 a month. 40 should be easy if you have 1,000 people caring about what you're doing and you're steadily growing that fan base. Now you're making $400 a month. Then you've got your live shows. When you're playing your live shows, you're going to get ticket sales, or you're going to get an advance where it's just like a guarantee, and then you also get to sell your merch. So let's say that you're at a live show and you're getting $1 per ticket, and you can sell 200 or 300 tickets. That's $200-300, and then you're also selling merch. And every band that I know that sell merch live that has solid designs and a solid fan base can easily walk out with $400 or $500 in merch sales from one show that's got under 1,000 people at it. Live shows is a really, really, really good way to kind of just get a big chunk of change monthly. I would do one show a month. I wouldn't do more than that because you start burning people out, and any less than that and it's not great revenue. Then you've got ad revenue if you're doing all of this content for YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Maybe one of those will start creating some ad revenue, and you can get some Google Ads payouts, which is really, really nice. I wouldn't count on it. I would say maybe like $100 per month. $4,000 is about what you get for 1 million views on YouTube. So if you're just doing, content weekly or even twice a week, and they're getting a couple thousand views a piece, yeah, expect maybe like $100 to $200 a month. It's, again, kind of free money once you make the content, and the content is really to actually build your brand, not to necessarily make money. And this is where I think that most artists are losing potential on making money. We used to have fan clubs like years and years ago where people would pay like $5 a month and they would get like sneak peeks to songs. MySpace had a lot of fan clubs. You would get exclusive live sets, exclusive Q&As. You would get early access to ticket sales, early access to merch sales, etc. And now there are so many ways to do that so easily. You've got Patreon, you've got Twitch, you can make your own fan club through your website and just create like a membership portal. So let's say that you want to charge people $5 a month, and that gets them a free download every month when you release a song. If you're releasing monthly, they get the song a week early before anybody else gets it on Spotify or Tidal or whatever. They get one Q&A every month where you go on for an hour and you just answer people's questions, and they get one live set a month where you go on and maybe for 45 minutes you do a couple covers, you do a couple of originals, and then maybe they get first access to merch sales and to live show tickets, right? So that's a really, really, really easy way. I mean, if you have 50 members at $5 per month, which, I would pay $5 a month of that for any artist that I even kind of like. That's $250 a month, which brings your monthly total to a little over $1,200. And before, it would have been maybe $100 from streaming royalties because you wouldn't have been doing any of this other stuff, maybe $150 from streaming and album sales. So, I mean, the big money is in stuff that you're probably not doing right now. Then you've got your unlikely income, you've got placements in ads and movies and stuff like that. That's big money. You've got placements in large playlists, which sometimes are random, sometimes you have to spend a lot of money to get on. Sometimes if you're touring, it's a little bit more money because you're getting these merchandise like kind of sales every single day as you're playing, and then some of your content goes viral. So these are unlikely income sources, but they're a lot more likely if you're making your content, if you're playing live, if you're building that fan base. So these are impossible if you're just releasing a song a year, and they're unlikely if you're doing everything that we've kind of talked about. There are a couple really, really, really good strategies. I know we've talked about like releasing your music and stuff like that. Mark Eckert, really, really good friend of the channel, also has an amazing website where he does a lot of stuff for artists. He has this free download that is a release strategy where he basically goes over everything from how to get the song up to how to pitch it to PR to how to pitch it to playlists, and really just get your song in front of as many people as possible. He's also got this indie PR bundle, which is really, really sick. So, I mean, definitely go on and get this because there's no reason not to. You literally just put your name and your email in and you get it for free. So definitely go check that out. Check out the article on why you should sell merch and what The Weeknd is selling merch. Go check out all of Adam's videos, but especially how to build 1,000 fans a month and start to implement some of these ideas because these are, I mean, easy ways to make money. Like the merchandise is actually free money if you just take 1 or 2 days to build a website and leave it there. Developing content is a little time consuming, but it can be revenue and it's a really, really good way to build your brand. There's just so many ways to do this where I think that artists think that they're trying, but they're really not. Like releasing music is not trying. That's just doing the bare minimum. Everybody has to release music to be an artist. So if you're only doing that, don't be surprised when everybody else is rushing ahead of you. You have to be consistent with your content, and that means being consistent with your music, being consistent with all your peripheral content, like your YouTube stuff, your Instagram stuff. You have to run yourself as a brand and as a business. We're to a time now to where everything can be super, super independent. You don't need a label, you don't need management, you don't need a publishing team, you don't need any of that stuff, but you do need a bit of time and a lot of effort. You have to really, really be going on all these platforms and making a difference, because if you're not, there are thousands of artists that will be wiping the floor with you. So it's a little bit of tough love, but hopefully this video gave you some ideas to start making some more money as an artist, start building a fan base as an artist. And if you like this, let us know. If you didn't, sorry. Hopefully somebody that you know can get some information out of this. Honestly, this was a game changer to me when I was in a band, just starting to sell merch and really get steady. And even as a producer, I use most of these things with my own business and make pop music. So hopefully you thought this was entertaining and informational, but other than that, I will see you guys next time. As you can see, it really starts to get simple when you start breaking it down. You start to see really how many income streams and how many revenue streams there possibly are. I think always go at it with a little bit of a business mindset. Of course, you have to focus on the music first, because that's why we're all here. So definitely make good music, focus on the music, but put a little bit of that effort in towards business stuff. Read some business books, read some stuff on selling, read some stuff on, management, because all of this is a lot to handle, especially if you don't have a manager or any kind of financial advisor, or you don't have any kind of upfront money to invest. Definitely put a little bit of time and effort in, come up with a game plan that's going to work for you. All of this stuff that we talked about today was just a hypothetical situation. Every artist is different, every market is different, every genre is different, but find your game plan and actually implement a game plan, because that is going to be huge. Actually think about the money. Don't just kind of go in blind and willy-nilly thinking, oh, I do this because I love it. That's great. If you want to do it because you love it, awesome. But then you can't complain when you're not doing this as a living, and when in 15 years, you're just doing music as a hobby still. That's totally fine if that's what you want to do. But if you don't want to do that, you have to do something about that. So hopefully this video helped. Let us know what you want to see next time. If you enjoyed this, leave a comment below, leave a like on the video, and subscribe to our channel. We'll be back with more stuff Tuesdays and Thursdays every week. We hope you're all enjoying the content, and we will see you guys soon. Much love, make pop music. Peace out.